Hi, today our guest is Gleb Kostarev, the regional head of CE, CIS, Turkey and ANZ of Binance. Gleb, hi, thank you for your time. It's a pleasure to have you here in this Forbes, Georgia office.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation.
Gleb, let's begin our interview with going back a little bit in time. Back in 2022, you met with the Prime Minister of Georgia and his cabinet. Let's recap that meeting. What did you discuss?
Yeah, it was a great meeting. So CZ met with the Prime Minister and a number of other officials at the government. So we discussed, what Binance can do for Georgia, how Georgia is open to, crypto industry, what's government view on that, and how we can collaborate together. So that was, the main point of our meeting.
Gleb, almost half a year has passed since that meeting, and what did Binance do during this time in Georgia?
Yeah, so during this time, so we started to collaborate with a number of universities. We made a couple of hackathons, so we started to look for local, blockchain startups that potentially we can support in different ways, right? We work closely with some banks in terms of what we can do, like Binance Card, some fiat channels, etc. So actually, we did pretty good job since that time, and we will definitely continue to do, to put more efforts in our regional hub. And actually, only recently we announced that Georgia will be one of our hubs in Eastern Europe, Central Asia. Yeah.
So did you open an office in Georgia yet, and how many employees based in Georgia do you employ currently?
Yeah, we had a small office here right now, but we'll definitely go into to expand. Yeah, exactly. In terms of employees, so we have I think around a dozen of employees here right now, but we're also discussing right now to relocate more global, like guys from other countries, and we definitely will hire more people here.
That's great to hear. And let me ask you one weird question. Are your employees getting paid in fiat currency or in cryptocurrency?
Actually, it all depends on the local situation with the licenses, because, for example, when you have license and if there will be VASP license of Binance in Georgia, so there will be definitely some specific requirements in terms of how you should pay to your employees. Most likely, if you will have license, you will have to pay in fiat.
Yeah.
It's good that we talked about licenses, because my next question is about that. During your meeting with the Prime Minister and his cabinet, Mr. Papuna Lejava, the Vice Governor of National Bank of Georgia, was also there. And as we know, NBG has already passed, and together with the Parliament, the regulation. Now we're expecting the guide rule book to be published soon, probably sometime in summer. So let me ask you this. Did Binance participate in any way in the lawmaking process?
So we definitely gave our recommendations, to central bank and to the government in terms of how, what are the best practices that we see in the world, and gave some of our recommendations. But it will be also important for us to see the final guidebook in terms of VSP, because it's important for us to understand what to do next.
What's your general approach about the regulation here in Georgia that the NBG, together with the Parliament and the government, has initiated?
Yeah, so overall, from our understanding, the approach of the government and regulators, it's, I would say, it's closer to MiCA, to European one, right? And actually today, MiCA finally passed the Parliament in Europe, so it will be implemented. And we think, and overall, we think that MiCA, it's a pretty pragmatic approach in terms of regulation of cryptocurrencies. So we are pretty supportive of that, and if Georgia continue to implement MiCA's I would say standards, I think it's it will be pretty beneficial for the country and local economy, because MiCA is focusing on some QIC, AML guidance, right? How to prevent scams and frauds to happen, and of course it's very important for the industry to grow.
Binance is a uniquely big player on the market. I want to take your opinion about this regulation and how it will affect some smaller players. In your opinion, is this regulation some sort of baseline, or it could be rigid for some companies?
Yeah, it's some kind of like baseline. Still, at the national level, there can be like additional, for example, requirements to exchanges. So yeah, I would say that there will be some flexibility for like, for specific countries if they want like to implement something additionally. Yeah.
Okay, so what is your general outlook for Georgia? What will Binance do in the short and long-term future here?
Yeah, we definitely will continue to work closely with financial institutions, fintechs, in order to make some joint products that Georgians can use. We definitely will explore more an opportunity to issue Binance card here, but maybe it's not like very like near future, like maybe in a year or something like that, right? We definitely will try to build strong fiat channels here. We will continue to develop our BNB chain and support of other blockchain projects here. And overall, we see when Binance is entering some market and starts building some kind of hub, other companies, they usually also go to the country. So we hope that our presence here will help to attract other cryptocurrency businesses as well. And overall, it will help the economy, in taxes, in terms of employment. So yeah, I would say that it will be some kind of combined effect.
Before you proceed with the general outlook, I want to ask you a small question about Binance Card. Could you elaborate a little bit? What benefits will it bring to the Georgian customers?
Yeah, so usually Binance Card, it's like just like a simple debit card, right? But it is connected to your Binance account. So if you want to go and you can go and pay for any goods and services with this card, and when you're paying, you're not like paying in crypto, right? There is some kind of
transfer from cryptocurrency to fiat
processing, right? So you're paying actually in lari, but for crypto enthusiasts, it's a great tool, right? You don't need to use fiat channels to get lari to your banking account or in cash, right? You can just continue to keep crypto on your account and pay with this card.
I would like to add about lari. Currently, National Bank of Georgia is developing CBDC, digital lari. Are you in some ways involved in this project?
In terms of CBDC, not really, because CBDC it's a bit different from
traditional blockchain, right?
Traditional blockchain. But of course, we always open to give our recommendations because we see some trends, some global trends. But again, we're a blockchain company, right? And crypto it's a bit different from CBDC. CBDC it's more about direct access of users to, so users will keep their funds at central bank. So CBDC is about that banks are not really needed as intermediaries. But again, there are different concepts. Some concepts, within those concepts, CBDC can be based on blockchain, right? Within other test pilots, blockchain is not needed. So I think right now, I would say it is the future, but still some time should pass because nobody actually issued CBDC yet as
only pilot projects in
only
China.
Pilot projects, only pilot projects, but not
not large scale tests.
Yeah, not large scale.
Yeah.
What's your general outlook about CBDC in general?
I think it will definitely replace cash. Yeah, but I don't think that it will kill crypto because crypto is right now it's more than just transferring funds of value, right? Right now we have NFTs, we have DeFi, GameFi. So I don't think that those areas will be affected in any way by CBDC.
All right, let's talk about Binance, about Binance in general. What are the areas you are covering, and could we say that Binance is more than just a crypto exchange?
Yeah, Binance definitely right now is more than crypto exchange. We have a huge range of different products, right? Not only like spot and futures trading platforms, but we also have like our own wallet solution. It is called Trust Wallet. Yeah, we have like Binance Card. We have CoinMarketCap. It's one of the most popular websites, in terms of crypto in the world, right? There is BNB chain, and we have our own like token BNB, right? So I would say that it's a huge ecosystem. Actually, our final goal is that if any people they want to go and find out some information or get any product in crypto, they can just go to Binance.com.
And they will get full service.
Yeah, and we also have Binance Academy. It's a great tool. It's completely free. You can go there and you can learn about a lot of things. It can be like, what's blockchain? And there can be also much more sophisticated topics such as, I don't know, what's front running. So yeah, it's completely free. So anyone can use it.
That's great. So what is the role of a BNB token in Binance's ecosystem?
Yeah, so BNB token, it's some kind of fuel for BNB chain. Yeah, so BNB chain, it's like layer one protocol. So developers can build different kind of solutions and decentralized apps on BNB chain. The good thing is that fees are pretty low and it's pretty fast. So this is why BNB chain actually it's like one of the leaders among blockchains in the world. Yeah, and BNB chain it also has some kind of use cases within our trading platform. So if you use BNB chain, so you will be able to pay less in fees.
And what is the market share of Binance in general in the crypto industry? Could you say some kind of number? I've seen some reports, they suggest it's about 90%. Is that true?
I'm not sure about 90%, and market share is always some kind of volatile thing, right? But definitely we can say that Binance is one of the leaders in the world in terms of crypto and blockchain.
And don't you think that such dominance contradicts the principles of decentralization and crypto in general?
I think that overall, if anyone wants to go and create a crypto exchange or some protocols, they can go and do that. And actually, when we say about leadership position, I think that crypto is developing very fast, right? And they will definitely be, they definitely appear as some kind of new businesses, new crypto exchanges, new protocols, and new blockchains. For example, we saw recently with OpenSea, right? It was some kind of it was dominating the NFT market. But then Blur appeared, and they became number one, I don't know, in a month or 2 months.
But then Binance has this position to acquire these small companies because of its dominance. So don't you think it's a bit threatening for the future? Could it be threatening for the industry in general?
As I mentioned, I think that blockchain space, it's about open source, right? Again, if you have you have Uniswap, you can make fork and you can launch the same. So it's very, I would say, it's very complicated to monopolize blockchain space, blockchain area, because so many great minds, and it's open source. You can build exchanges or protocols, and given that right now there's ChatGPT and all that stuff, right? It's you can definitely then try to do that by yourself as well.
So let's switch the topic. Last year, Binance invested about $500 million in Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter. Currently, at this point, is Binance an investor in Twitter, and does it hold an equity stake at newly created company called X Corporation?
I'm not so deep into details in terms of our involvement into Twitter, but overall, speaking about Twitter, I think that right now, Elon Musk, he has I would say, more relevant things to do more than like Web3 area, right? Because he's restructuring the company. A lot of people were fired, right? So
EV business is quite hard to manage.
Yeah. So he definitely has a lot of challenges in terms of managing Twitter right now. So this is why I don't think that like crypto and Web3, it's it's his high priority at this current moment.
Okay, while we are on Elon, he's a sort of influencer in terms of crypto because every time he posts something or he replaces Twitter's logo with the Dogecoin symbol, markets go crazy, go nuts even. Do you think that the influence that he has on the market could be interpreted as unhealthy sometimes and could be considered more manipulation even?
I think it's an interesting question because some people they can say, he's writing something in Twitter about Dogecoin, right, and it's pumping up. But at the same time, if you prohibit him to do that, people will say that, there is no free market.
No freedom of speech.
No freedom of speech, right? So I think it's pretty complicated thing to find like right balance. And also, I think it's more about education of people. People should understand that, how crypto markets are working, right? And what are the risks. So I think this is what we as an industry can do better. Because right now a lot of people, they think, Musk is writing about that. I will definitely, get some money if I will invest in Dogecoin right now. And people don't really understand all the risks. Yeah.
Okay, while we are on risks, recently many big, small crypto exchanges went bankrupt and a lot of crypto assets were frozen in general globally. And at the same time, there were worries about Binance's liquidity. We remember that a lot of money during several days period, a lot of money were taken out of Binance accounts. Let me ask you, how solid is Binance financially today?
Binance is solid, and actually you can check, our wallets right now by yourselves. So we made it public and we implemented that Merkle tree. So right now users, they can go and verify how much funds Binance is holding at this current moment. And actually we want all the exchanges to do the same. Because in this case, users, they at least understand what assets exchange is holding and is it used for something or not. So this is why I think, right now industry, there is a bit more transparency than it was, before, a year ago, for example.
What is the buffer rate you have for your liquid assets? Because we know that for banks, for instance, there is mandatory percentage that they have to have. But what is happening in terms of crypto exchanges?
In terms of crypto exchanges, actually, you should keep funds one-to-one. Mm-hmm. Actually, if user
much stricter rules, I'd say.
Yeah, actually, it's even stricter. Yeah.
So the ratio is the same with Binance, right?
Yeah.
1-to-1. Okay. Let's assume, let's imagine that some sort of bank run happens, on Binance. What is Binance's strategy in that sense? What are you going to do and how are you hedging those risks?
Actually, it almost happened in the end of last year. Yeah, recently, a lot of influencers were saying, Binance will go bankrupt, you should take your money out. But as we saw, there were some withdrawals, but people, they always they're depositing, withdrawing. So there were more withdrawals, but it's fine for us because again, we are keeping users' funds, right? And if they want to withdraw funds, we give them back. So for us, there's no additional pressure.
Is it only FUD, or people begin to see some sort of, not negativity per se, but some sort of risks in centralized exchanges?
I think in terms of that specific situation, it was more about FUD. But overall, I think users, they also should understand the risks of keeping their funds on centralized exchanges, right? With Binance it's fine, but we saw some exchanges that went bankrupt, right? And never give back money to users. So this is why there is always good strategy for users to keep money like in different exchanges, hot and cold wallets, right? Because in this case, you will diversify risks.
Gleb, is Binance too big to fail? If this is all theoretical, of course, but still,
I don't see right now the situation how Binance can fail.
All right. How would you rate the current situation of the market in general? Are we still in bear market, or is there any kind of a signs of bull market starting? Do we see any kind of trajectory of going upwards?
Yeah, I would say that this year will be definitely complicated for crypto industry. Most likely we are in the beginning of bull market and bear market is over. But at the same time, we see that some regulatory pressure. For example, in the U.S., there are a lot of discussions, especially from SEC, whether all tokens are securities or not. So I think in the US, US regulators, they give pretty hostile signals to the market, right? And even Coinbase recently, they mentioned that, should we stay in the US or not, right? So those kind of like regulatory actions, they can definitely add more volatility to the market. So it means that, we can go up, but then we can go down. So I think that this year there will be a lot of volatility. But also at the same time, if we speak about like regulatory situation, some countries, they're becoming more open to crypto. For example, recently Hong Kong, so they announced a new strategy in terms of attracting Web3 companies. So local Hong Kong banks, they started to work with crypto businesses. There were a lot of events, and I heard that a lot of companies, they will relocate, to Hong Kong. So when there are some issues, with regulators in one country, there will always be other countries that will become more loyal to crypto.
And
so
Saudi Arabia also started new Web3 and tech strategy.
Yeah. Exactly.
So what could be catalyst for next bull run? Could it be Fed, cutting rates, or could this be halving of Bitcoin?
Yeah, I think all those factors, they can affect, right? We saw that the previous bull run was affected by rates, right?
Yeah. Essentially zeroing those rates.
Yeah, so halving is also one of the factors, what crypto enthusiasts consider in terms of its market growing or not. Yeah, so, and actually I think that this year there is much more confidence in crypto than it was before. So because of all these political and economical issues that we see in the world, right, crypto actually is doing pretty good.
And bankruptcy of banks.
Yeah, exactly. So this is why I think that, confidence of investors to crypto is growing. Yeah, and in terms of bull run, it's also tough to say what specific, I would say area or section of crypto will grow. Right now we see that there are a lot of new layer 2 and layer 1, blockchains. Such as Arbitrum, Optimism, and others, they're launching, and there's a lot of hype around them. Also, I think that GameFi actually will grow a lot. So we still didn't see some strong games, in GameFi.
In the last bull run, it was almost non-existent at the point.
Yeah, X is a great game, but still
it's not that entertaining.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's be honest.
So, and we see that a lot of capital is going into GameFi industry. So, for example, recently Razer, they launched 100 million fund to invest into Web3. Yeah. So definitely, sooner or later, there will be some kind of strong, gaming projects. And I think that it can be another catalyst for the whole industry to grow. Yeah.
Gleb, what benefit could bring transition of a particular game onto blockchain. And how we're big in gamers ourselves, and for me, for instance, before I see AAA game transitioning onto blockchain or some sort of different Web3 technology, I'm still not convinced about this. That this relationship is needed. So
yeah, I think the major value is that if you keep, for example, your weapon, it will be linked to, you will keep it on your wallet. It means that admins, they can't just like ban your account and everything that you were trying to achieve right now, it's gone, right? So this weapon will always you will always keep it on your wallet and nobody will have access to it. And actually, you can also like do some kind of program. You can program this weapon, what will happen with it, and it can be used not only in one game, but in different games. And for example, another angle, it is about achievements, right? So right now, different games, they have different achievement systems, and publishers, they can have like, achievement systems, but they're not, I would say, they're not integrated with each other, right? But you can have just like protocol with all those achievements in games. And also it's a great tool for publishers to also attract, I would say, loyal audience, because, for example, you play in some game, you got those achievements, and they're not like, actually it's NFTs, but they're not transferable. And then when you like connect wallet, for example, for another game, those developers, they can give you like additional features. So it's also about like loyalty program. And in the end of the day, market of gaming assets, it's huge, and people still trade it. Yeah, but they like trade it like or in cash or in some platforms, right?
Or it's Steam, and you have to pay fees of 30% or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
So I think that like blockchain can definitely like make this market more democratic, I would say, and give access to everyone, and like with lower fees, but we still lack, there is still not a lot of marketplaces, protocols. I think we are in the very beginning.
Gleb, let's move to a bit tougher topic than games. You just mentioned that the confidence of investors is rising, but at the same time we can see that the confidence of regulators is a bit shaky.
Yeah.
And this could be seen in the United States, where some regulators are investigating Binance US and CZ over alleged violations of US commodities and securities law. Considering this regulatory pressure that exists in the US, I'll be very direct. How grim is Binance's American future?
So as I mentioned before, the whole crypto industry has issues in the US, right? Other exchanges, they're also under pressure. But regarding this specific case, we should understand that the majority of those claims, they are related to early days of Binance, when Binance just appeared as a company, right? Of course, like 5 years ago, there were like different kind of standards in terms of like KYC, AML, right? A lot of exchanges during those days didn't have KYC at all, and actually Binance was one of the like early adopters of mandatory KYC. And so yeah, during those days it was a bit different, and of course we didn't have like 1,000 compliance people as we have right now. So it was like a different kind of different situation, like a small startup. So yeah, this is why the majority of claims, they're related to like 2018, 2019 to those years.
Unfortunately, it's been several years of active crypto in the global market, right? But unfortunately, we still see that crypto industry in general is full of fraudsters and scammers. Based from your perspective, what should be done to protect the industry from these sort of organizations and these sort of people?
Yeah, we should understand that in areas with new technologies, there will be always like fraudsters and criminals, because there is no like regulation. And even like in regulated areas with banks, we can see some kind of like fraudsters that can like send you like some messages, oh, like send me some money, etc. Right? What can we do? So definitely there will be more regulation going forward, right? And it will help to to prevent the industry from some fraudsters and criminals. But I think it's not it's not only the task of regulators, right? I think the industry should also, as I mentioned, try to educate users more, because sometimes people, they don't really understand how this is working, because still blockchain, it is pretty sophisticated technology, right? And of course, like keeping money like on like cold wallets or hot wallets, it can be not an easy task. For a lot of people.
seed phrase, where did you hide it or save it?
Exactly.
It's pretty complicated.
It's pretty complicated. Yeah. So yeah, this is why people, they always try to find some easy ways, right? And this is where like criminals and fraudsters appear. So we should definitely like invest more into education, right? Trying to explain people how this working. And I think that like the time will pass, the like I would say financial literacy in terms of crypto will continue to grow. Yeah.
What does Binance do in this regard?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we have like Binance Academy, so we are working with different like universities. We're trying to explain students how this is working, right? So we have like a lot of content and material, content that users can read and understand how this is working. Right, so yeah, this is what we're doing, and even like even on our exchange, right, we have like innovative zone where we're saying that guys, you should be a bit more careful, because those kind of assets, they can be a bit more risky. So yeah, that's what we can do. Yeah, that's our like contribution to the growth. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about AI revolution that is upon us. In recent months, AI has become truly a global sensation, and I could say a buzzword. What is the role of AI in development of crypto industry, and could this be as a new catalyst for crypto in general?
I think that AI can be a useful tool for developers, because you can definitely, AI can definitely help you to do that, faster, to write all those smart contracts, etc.
And without some errors and mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. So I think developers, they will just will have to do more audit, and that's like basically it, right? If it is written in great code, fantastic. Also, in terms of Binance, I think that we can definitely implement, ChatGPT or those AI tools into customer support, because sometimes people, they complain that they don't receive like fast answer, and I think this is where ChatGPT can definitely improve processes. Also, I think that it can be used, Giorgi specifically can be used in NFT space. So for example, we had a project called Picasso, so everyone could mint their own like NFTs on Binance, but it will be like some like updated avatar, right, by AI. So I think those type of things will definitely continue to develop. So NFT developers, they will use like Giorgi, right, to generate all those like images. I think there will be another question, how we will understand whether it is generated by AI or generated by like digital artists specifically. And then recently there was a case that some AI generated image won some prize.
Competition, yeah.
So
good job to AI.
But at the same time, AI has drawbacks as well. And let me play the role of devil's advocate here. We all know that Bitcoin's strength relies on cryptographic encryption. That today is very difficult, to say the least, to hack. But what happens if AI, together with or built upon quantum computer, one day hacks it? What happens to the crypto industry then?
to be honest, I don't think that it will happen, because there are still like some kind of developers community, right? And if they see that something can probably happen, they can take some actions and steps, and like miners, so they will all like vote in order to make some kind of upgrades. So yeah, to be honest, I don't think that it is a big threat, to the industry. Yeah, Bitcoin is some kind of like digital gold, and I think you will have to like spend like enormous resources in order to try to hack it. But the outcome, it's pretty unpredictable. I mean, so I don't think it is some kind of big threat.
Okay, let me ask you last question, and let me pick your brains on this topic. It's a bit trivial, but what would happen if Satoshi Nakamoto reveals his true identity and proves it? Then what happens to the crypto industry?
I think everyone in crypto industry is trying to understand who is Satoshi, right? And to resolve this mystery. But in the end of the day, I don't think that we'll find out. And I think it was pretty smart from Satoshi's side to stay in the shadow. Because we see what's happening with some projects or founders. There are also some there can be like some risks, some threats, and I think that Bitcoin is one of the like biggest I would say inventions of the 21st century, right? And I think it's good for all of us to not to know who is Satoshi.
Well, Gleb, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for the very interesting interview.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Gleb.